In the heart of Harlem, on a gray and cloudy morning, a little boy named Jamal walked with his father, Deacon Marcus Washington, down Malcolm X Boulevard. The familiar sounds of the bustling neighborhood surrounded them, but that day the atmosphere felt heavier. As they approached the local grocery store on 125th Street, Marcus spoke to his son with a mixture of pride and caution. "Jamal, listen to me, son. I can't take you all the way to school today because of that job interview I've got. But you know how to get there, right? Just take the bus, and when you get off, keep your head high and pray, like I taught you," Marcus said, his voice carrying both confidence and the slight worry that every father feels when his child takes a new step toward independence. Jamal, only 9 years old, but filled with the determination of someone older, nodded enthusiastically. "I'll be fine, Dad. I'm grown up now," he said, a smile creeping across his face. Marcus chuckled softly, ruffling his son's hair. "I know you are, my boy, but remember, Harlem can be tough, and you always got to stay close to God. Say your prayers and be kind to people no matter what. Kindness comes back in ways we don't always see." As they reached the entrance of the grocery store, Marcus bent down and hugged Jamal tightly. "I'll see you later, okay? I'm proud of you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Jamal nodded, feeling both the weight of responsibility and the warmth of his father's love. Inside the store, Jamal took a small basket, focused on the list of groceries his father had given him. The store, though busy, felt different to him that day. People from all walks of life moved through the aisles. Families, elders, and workers, each wrapped up in their own routines. But Jamal didn't know that today would be different. Today, his character and faith would be tested in a way he couldn't imagine. As Jamal moved through the store, gathering items, he heard a commotion near the entrance. His curiosity piqued. He turned and saw a scene unfolding that would soon change his life. An elderly woman, Sister Mabel, who lived a few blocks down and was well known in their church, stood at the store's entrance, arguing with the security guard. Her face looked worn, her hands clutching an old weathered bag. There was a tremor in her voice as she pleaded with the guard. "Please, sir, I'm just here to get a few things for the church. I don't have the money for the entrance fee today, but I promise I'll pay it back next week," she said, her eyes downcast. The guard, visibly irritated, raised his voice, drawing attention from nearby shoppers. "No money, no entry, lady. I don't care if you're from the church or the moon. This is a store, not a charity." His harsh words rang through the air, cutting into the moment like a knife. Jamal froze, watching as the scene escalated. Sister Mabel's eyes filled with tears, her voice trembling as she tried to explain herself again. I swear on the Lord, I will pay you back. I just need a few things to feed the people." But the guard, unmoved by her plea, sneered. "You swear? Ha! I've heard that before. I'm not letting some broke old woman in here. Get out of my store and don't come back unless you've got money," he barked, raising his hand as if to physically force her out. Jamal could feel his heart pounding. He remembered what his father always said, "Whatever you do for the least of these, you do for the Lord." The injustice burned in his chest, and something inside him snapped. No one else in the store seemed willing to intervene. Everyone was too wrapped up in their own lives to step in and help the poor woman. But Jamal knew what he had to do. Taking a deep breath, Jamal reached into his pocket, feeling the lunch money his father had given him. It was just enough for the pizza he had been dreaming about all week, but at that moment, something far more important was at stake. His small hands clutched the crumpled bills tightly as he walked toward the guard. "Here," Jamal said, his voice steady despite the nerves racing through him. He handed the guard his money. "Now, let her in." The guard stared at the boy for a moment, dumbfounded. His scowl deepened, but he snatched the money from Jamal's hand. "Whatever, kid. You paid for her. She can go in," he muttered, stepping aside. Sister Mabel's tear-filled eyes met Jamal's. She was speechless, her lips quivering as she tried to find the words. "Bless you, young man. Bless you in the name of the Lord," she whispered, her voice breaking with gratitude. Jamal, feeling both pride and sorrow, nodded. "It's okay. No one should be treated like that," he said softly, echoing the teachings his father had instilled in him. As he walked away, his heart still racing, he couldn't help but feel a sense of peace. He had given up his lunch money, but the sacrifice felt right. His father had always told him that blessings come back, often in ways we don't expect, and though Jamal didn't know it yet, that small act of kindness was about to change everything. The next day, Jamal sat in his classroom at Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School, feeling the usual excitement that came with seeing his friends. However, he couldn't shake the memory of what had happened at the grocery store. His stomach growled softly, reminding him of the pizza he wouldn't be able to buy at lunch, but he didn't regret what he had done. His father always said that God rewards acts of kindness. Unbeknownst to Jamal, outside the school, a sleek black Mercedes slowly pulled up to the curb. The vehicle was a sharp contrast to the usual cars seen in the neighborhood. It gleamed in the morning light, catching the attention of teachers and students alike. As the car door opened, out stepped a woman dressed in elegant clothing, Sister Mabel, but not the version of her Jamal had seen the day before. Gone were the old, worn-out clothes. She now looked every bit as regal as someone stepping out of a luxury car. The school principal, Mr. Thompson, noticed her arrival and walked over, curiosity evident on his face. "Good morning, ma'am. How can I help you?" he asked politely. "I'm here to see Jamal Washington. He's a student here, and I owe him a great debt," she replied with a smile that radiated warmth and authority. Mr. Thompson, now intrigued, hesitated for a moment. "Well, we can't usually allow just anyone to see the students without prior permission, but Jamal's father, Deacon Marcus, happens to be in the office right now. Would you like to speak with him?" Sister Mabel's eyes lit up. "Yes, please, I would be most grateful." A few moments later, Deacon Marcus walked into the office, his brow furrowed with concern. When his eyes met Sister Mabel's, recognition flickered in his expression, followed by confusion. He remembered Jamal's story about a poor woman in the store, but the woman standing before him looked nothing like the person his son had described. She was poised, confident, and dressed in elegant clothing. "Good morning, ma'am," Marcus said cautiously. "I understand you know my son?" Sister Mabel smiled warmly and extended her hand. "Deacon Marcus, I believe your son saved me yesterday, more than he could ever know. I wanted to personally thank him and you for raising such a remarkable young man." Marcus's confusion deepened, but he listened closely as Sister Mabel began to tell her story. "You see, I wasn't just an elderly woman struggling at the grocery store. My name is Mabel Johnson, and I come from a family that has been blessed with more than enough. But yesterday, I was testing the generosity of strangers, disguised as someone in need, and your son, well, he was the only one who stepped up." Marcus's eyes widened in surprise. He had heard stories like this before, people with wealth testing the kindness of others. But to hear that his son had passed such a test filled him with pride. "My boy," Marcus started, his voice cracking with emotion. "He's a special one," Mabel continued, her own voice full of admiration. "And I want to repay that kindness in a way that honors his heart. I'd like to pay for Jamal's education, not just this year, but all the way through college, and if there's anything else your family needs, I would be more than happy to help." Marcus's knees buckled slightly, and he steadied himself against the office desk. Tears welled up in his eyes as he tried to process the magnitude of her offer. I don't know what to say," he stammered. Sister Mabel placed a comforting hand on his arm. "Just say thank you, Deacon Marcus. The Lord works in mysterious ways, and yesterday He worked through your son." At that moment, Jamal was called down to the office. He walked in, his small backpack slung over his shoulder, his face lighting up when he saw both his father and the woman from the store. "Dad, what's going on?" Jamal asked, his youthful curiosity getting the better of him. Deacon Marcus crouched down to meet his son's eyes. "Son, do you remember what you did yesterday? The kindness you showed to Sister Mabel?" Jamal nodded, unsure of what was happening. "Well, son, Sister Mabel isn't who you think she is. She's come here today to thank you for helping her, and she wants to make sure your future is taken care of. She's going to pay for your education all the way through college." Jamal's eyes widened in shock. "What? Really?" he asked, looking from his father to Sister Mabel. Sister Mabel smiled at the boy, her eyes shining with warmth. "Yes, really. You showed me what it means to be a good person, to live out your faith in the Lord, and I want to help you in return." For a moment, Jamal was speechless. Then, with a maturity beyond his years, he smiled softly and said, "Thank you, ma'am. I just did what my dad and God would want me to do." Marcus, overcome with emotion, hugged his son tightly, whispering a prayer of thanks to God. Sister Mabel wiped a tear from her own cheek, moved by the purity of the boy's heart and the strength of the bond between father and son. The day after Sister Mabel's visit, word spread through the school like wildfire. Jamal, who had always been quiet and modest, suddenly found himself the center of attention. His classmates whispered excitedly, and even the teachers looked at him with newfound respect. "Did you hear? Jamal helped some rich lady at the grocery store, and now she's paying for him to go to college," one of his friends said as they walked into the classroom. "Yeah, I heard she came in a fancy car and everything," another chimed in. Jamal, feeling both embarrassed and proud, did his best to stay humble. His father had always taught him that good deeds should be done quietly, without expecting anything in return. But even as he tried to deflect the attention, it was clear that his act of kindness had left an impression on everyone around him. At lunchtime, Jamal sat with his friends, enjoying the slice of pizza his father had given him money for that morning. His friends bombarded him with questions. "So, Jamal, is it true that lady's gonna send you to college?" one boy asked, his eyes wide with curiosity. Jamal nodded shyly. "Yeah, I guess so. She said it was God's way of blessing me for doing the right thing." His friends marveled at the story, but Jamal's thoughts kept returning to what his father had said the night before. After they had returned home from school, Deacon Marcus had sat him down for a long talk about faith, kindness, and how God's blessings often come in ways we least expect. "Son, when you did what you did yesterday, you were walking in the footsteps of Christ. You showed compassion when no one else did. And that, Jamal, is what it means to live a life of faith," Marcus had said, his voice full of pride and love. Jamal had listened quietly, feeling the weight of his father's words. His heart swelled with a sense of purpose, knowing that he had made his father proud and, more importantly, that he had honored God with his actions. The following Sunday at church, Deacon Marcus shared the story during his sermon. He didn't reveal Sister Mabel's identity or the financial blessing she had offered, but instead focused on the lesson of kindness and faith. Brothers and sisters, the Lord calls on us to be kind, even when it costs us something. Our rewards may not come in the form of riches, but they come in the form of spiritual blessings, the kind that last forever, Marcus preached, his voice echoing through the small church. As the congregation listened, many were moved by the story of Jamal's selflessness. After the service, Sister Mabel, who had been sitting quietly in the back, approached the pulpit. She hugged Deacon Marcus and placed a gentle hand on Jamal's shoulder. "You have a wonderful son, Deacon," she whispered. "He is a light in this world." As weeks turned into months, Sister Mabel's promise to Jamal and his father wasn't just talk. She arranged for Jamal to attend the best private school in the area, one with a strong academic program and a focus on character development. It was a huge opportunity, one that Jamal and Marcus had never imagined would be possible. Jamal excelled at his new school, driven by the knowledge that his education was a gift, a blessing from God and from Sister Mabel's generosity. His teachers quickly noticed his sharp mind and compassionate heart, and soon Jamal became a leader among his classmates. Meanwhile, Deacon Marcus, with Sister Mabel's encouragement, began pursuing his old dream of becoming an engineer. With her financial support, he enrolled in a night class at a nearby community college, determined to make a better future for himself and his son. "I can't believe this is happening," Marcus would often say during their evening prayers. "God is so good, Jamal. He's made a way for us, just like I always told you he would." Jamal would nod, a smile on his face, as they knelt together in prayer. "Yeah, Dad, God is good all the time." The months flew by, and soon it was time for Jamal's scholarship ceremony at his new school. The principal stood at the front of the auditorium, a beaming smile on his face. "Today, we celebrate not just academic success, but the power of kindness and faith," the principal began. "Jamal Washington has shown us all what it means to live a life of integrity, and we are proud to have him here with us." Jamal stepped up to the stage, his heart pounding in his chest as the crowd applauded. He looked out into the audience and saw his father, sitting proudly beside Sister Mabel. They had both been his rocks, his guiding lights. As he accepted his scholarship award, Jamal spoke briefly but powerfully. "I just want to say thank you to my dad and to Sister Mabel and to God. I've learned that doing the right thing, even when it's hard, is always worth it. And I promise to keep doing the right thing, wherever life takes me." The audience erupted into applause as Jamal walked off the stage, his heart full of gratitude. And so, what had started as a simple act of kindness in a Harlem grocery store became a story of faith, family, and the power of God's blessings. Jamal's future was bright, and as he and his father knelt together in prayer that night, they knew one thing for sure. God had a plan, and they were walking in it. The months flew by, and soon it was time for Jamal's scholarship ceremony at his new school. The principal stood at the front of the auditorium, a beaming smile on his face. "Today, we celebrate not just academic success, but the power of kindness and faith," the principal began. "Jamal Washington has shown us all what it means to live a life of integrity, and we are proud to have him here with us." Jamal stepped up to the stage, his heart pounding in his chest as the crowd applauded. He looked out into the audience and saw his father, sitting proudly beside Sister Mabel. They had both been his rocks, his guiding lights. As he accepted his scholarship award, Jamal spoke briefly but powerfully. "I just want to say thank you to my dad and to Sister Mabel and to God. I've learned that doing the right thing, even when it's hard, is always worth it. And I promise to keep doing the right thing wherever life takes me." The audience erupted into applause as Jamal walked off the stage, his heart full of gratitude. And so, what had started as a simple act of kindness in a Harlem grocery store became a story of faith, family, and the power of God's blessings. Jamal's future was bright, and as he and his father knelt together in prayer that night, they knew one thing for sure. God had a plan, and they were walking in it. If this story moved you, if you believe in the power of kindness, faith, and the impact we can all have on others, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We've got many more inspiring stories just like Jamal's that will touch your heart and remind you of the power of goodness. So hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share this story with someone who could use a little more hope in their day. Together, we can spread more light and love in the world. Thank you for watching, and God bless. Have you ever wondered what would happen if an 8-year-old was the only one who could see through the lies of an adult? In today's story, a young boy risks it all to stop his father's wedding, revealing shocking secrets about his dad's fiancée that no one could have imagined. Trust, betrayal, and a child's courage. This is a tale you won't want to miss. But before we dive in, ask yourself, how far would you go to protect the people you love, especially if no one believed you? If this story of bravery, family, and uncovering the truth catches your attention, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories like this one. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. And share your thoughts in the comments below. How would you handle a situation like this? We'd love to hear from you. Now, let's dive into the story and uncover the truth that could change this family's life forever. The sun filters through the stained glass windows of the old countryside chapel, casting warm hues on the rows of pews filled with guests. The air is thick with anticipation, soft whispers mingling with the faint scent of flowers. At the altar stands James, dressed sharply in a dark suit, his eyes fixed on the chapel doors. He shifts nervously, a smile on his lips as he glances at his 8-year-old son, Sam, who is fidgeting with a small pillow in his hands. "You okay, buddy?" James whispers, his voice full of excitement. Sam nods, though his grip on the pillow tightens, betraying his unease. The boy's brown eyes dart anxiously to the door as he shifts his feet. "Yeah, just nervous, I guess." James chuckles, leaning down to ruffle his son's hair. "You're going to be the best ring bearer, I know it." A hint of a smile flickers across Sam's face, but it doesn't reach his eyes. He swallows hard, trying to focus on his dad's happiness instead of the knot forming in his stomach. The first notes of the wedding march begin to echo through the chapel. All eyes turn to the doors as they swing open to reveal Sophia in a stunning white gown, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders. She walks gracefully, eyes locked on James, her smile radiating joy. Sam watches, his heart pounding. He remembers when Sophia first entered their lives. His dad had been so happy, and he had wanted to believe that this woman could bring light back into their home. But over time, he had started to notice things that his dad never seemed to see. Sophia reaches the altar, her eyes glowing as she looks at James. "You look beautiful," he murmurs. She grins, her voice barely a whisper. "I can't wait to start our life together." The officiant begins speaking, his words washing over the guests. Sam feels like he's in a fog. His thoughts drift back to months ago, to the day his dad introduced him to Sophia. They had met at a park, a warm, sunny afternoon. James had seemed over the moon, smiling in a way Sam hadn't seen since his mother passed. "There's someone I want you to meet," James had said, a note of nervous excitement in his voice. Sophia had knelt down, her eyes sparkling as she reached out to shake Sam's hand. "It's so nice to meet you, Sam. Your dad talks about you all the time." For a moment, Sam had felt a glimmer of hope, but that feeling quickly faded. As weeks passed, he began noticing a different side of Sophia. When his dad was around, she was all smiles, asking Sam about school and laughing at his jokes. But when they were alone, she would grow cold and distant, ignoring him or making sharp comments about how he should behave. One evening, James was working late, and Sophia was left to watch Sam. He had tried to make conversation at dinner. "Do you like space? We're learning about the planets in school." She had cut him off sharply, not even looking up from her phone. "Eat your dinner quietly, Sam. I'm busy." That night, Sam had retreated to his room, the weight of confusion settling on his young shoulders. He wanted to tell his dad, but every time he worked up the courage, Sophia would find a way to charm James, turning his worries into mere childhood whims. Back in the present, the ceremony drones on. Sam fidgets, his eyes flickering between his father and Sophia. He remembers the night he overheard Sophia's conversation on the phone. He had woken up thirsty, padding quietly to the kitchen when he heard her hushed voice. "Everything has to go perfectly. The insurance policy is in place. 2 weeks after the wedding, we're done." Sam had frozen, hiding behind the wall, his heart racing. Who was she talking to? What did she mean by insurance policy? As he peeked around the corner, he saw Sophia pacing, her face twisted in frustration. No, he suspects nothing, and the boy, I'll handle him. Sam had felt a shiver run down his spine. His father was in danger. But what could he do? Would his dad even believe him? He had tried the next morning, hesitantly approaching James while he sipped his coffee. "Dad, I heard Sophia talking on the phone last night." James had glanced up, distracted. "Oh? What about?" Sam had taken a deep breath, pushing forward. "She was saying something about an insurance policy. I think she's planning something bad." James had laughed softly, reaching over to tousle Sam's hair. "You've been watching too many movies, buddy. Sophia loves us. She's just stressed about the wedding. It's going to be fine." But it wasn't fine. Every day leading up to the wedding, Sam felt the tension in the air grow thicker. He had to stop it. Today, standing here, he knows this is his last chance. The officiant's voice cuts through his thoughts. "If anyone here knows of any reason why these two should not be joined in marriage, speak now, or forever hold your peace." Silence fills the chapel. Sam's heart pounds in his ears. He looks at his dad, standing there with hope and love in his eyes. Then he glances at Sophia, her gaze fixed on James, a slight smirk playing on her lips. She thinks she's won. Sam steps forward, his voice cracking. "Wait!" Gasps ripple through the room as all heads turn to the small figure standing next to the groom. James blinks in confusion, looking down at his son. "Sam, what are you doing?" Sam's hands tremble, but he forces himself to stand tall. "You can't marry her, Dad. She's not who you think she is." Sophia's face contorts for a split second, a flash of anger crossing her eyes before she quickly recovers, placing a hand over her heart. "Sweetheart, I know this is hard for you, but—" "No!" Sam yells, his voice ringing out, surprising even himself. "I heard you on the phone. I know you're planning to hurt my dad." A murmur of shock sweeps through the guests. James looks stunned, his eyes wide with disbelief. "Sam, what are you talking about?" Sophia's smile tightens. She steps forward, placing a hand on James's arm. "He's confused, James. Kids his age, they make up stories when they feel threatened." But Sam doesn't back down. Tears sting his eyes, but he pushes through, his gaze locked on his father. "She's lying, Dad. I saw the documents on her computer. She has an insurance policy on you, and she's been talking to some man about a plan." The room erupts into gasps and whispers. Sophia's face pales, and for the first time she looks truly cornered. She turns to James, trying to pull him into a hug. "James, please, you know me. I would never—" "Is it true?" James interrupts, his voice trembling as he pulls away. "Is there an insurance policy?" Sophia's mouth opens, but no sound comes out. Her eyes dart around the chapel, searching for an escape. She glances at the door, then back at James, her mask of sweetness crumbling. "You don't understand," she hisses. "You and your son had it too good. I was going to make sure we all benefited." James takes a step back, his face paling as the truth sinks in. He looks at Sam, tears welling up in his eyes. "Oh my God, you were right." Sophia makes a break for the door, shoving past the stunned guests. A few of them try to block her path, but she's fast, pushing her way out into the sunlight. James snaps into action, pulling out his phone to call 911. "Hello? I need the police. My fiancée just fled our wedding. She was planning something dangerous." Sam watches as his father speaks, his heart pounding in his chest. He did it. He stopped it. James finishes the call and turns to Sam, kneeling down and pulling him into a tight embrace. "I'm so sorry, buddy. I should have listened to you." Sam hugs him back, his voice shaky. "It's okay, Dad. I had to protect you." James squeezes his eyes shut, holding his son close as the chaos around them continues. But for now, they're safe. They have each other. And that's what matters most. Outside, sirens blare as the police arrive, and the guests slowly file out, whispering in shock and disbelief. Inside the chapel, James and Sam remain locked in their embrace, finding comfort in the midst of the storm they've just weathered. Together, they begin to rise, ready to face whatever comes next. The sirens grow louder outside as the chapel doors swing open. Officers rush in, their eyes scanning the room, immediately spotting James and Sam standing near the altar. One officer approaches James, his gaze shifting between the father and son. "Sir, we received your call. Where did she go?" James gestures weakly towards the door. "She ran out that way. Please, you have to find her. She was planning to hurt me to get insurance money." The officer nods, signaling to his partner, "Secure the area and alert nearby units. We can't let her get far." As the officers hurry back outside, James takes a deep breath, his hands still trembling. He looks down at Sam, who is standing resolutely by his side. James crouches to meet his son's eyes, his voice shaky but filled with gratitude. "Sam, you saved my life." Sam shifts uncomfortably, not knowing how to respond. I couldn't let her hurt you, Dad." James pulls him into another embrace, his eyes shutting tight as he fights back the surge of emotions threatening to overwhelm him. He feels a mixture of relief, guilt, and immense pride for his son's bravery. The days that follow the wedding are a whirlwind of police reports, lawyer meetings, and an onslaught of questions from friends and family. James and Sam retreat to the quiet of their home, hoping to find a sense of normalcy in the aftermath of what happened. Sam notices that his dad has become quieter, more introspective, as they both try to navigate the mess Sophia left behind. One afternoon, Sam sits on the couch with a book, trying to focus, but his mind keeps wandering back to the wedding and the events that led up to it. James walks in, carrying 2 mugs of a hot chocolate, and sits down beside him. "Mind if we talk, buddy?" James asks, his voice gentle. Sam looks up and nods, setting the book aside. He knows this conversation was coming, and he's been dreading it. "I've been thinking a lot about what you did that day," James begins, staring into his mug. "I should have listened to you earlier. I ignored the signs, and I put us both in danger." Sam shifts in his seat, feeling the weight of his dad's words. "You didn't know, Dad. She tricked you. She tricked both of us." James places a hand on his son's shoulder, his grip firm but comforting. you're right. But you saw the truth when I didn't, and you stood up for what was right. That's something I will always be grateful for." They sit in silence for a moment, the reality of the past few weeks settling in. Outside, the wind rustles through the trees, bringing a sense of calm to their small living room. Sam takes a deep breath, deciding to voice a question that's been on his mind. "Do you think they'll catch her?" James sighs, looking out the window. The police are doing everything they can, but even if they don't, we're going to be okay. We'll keep moving forward, and we won't let her control our lives anymore. Sam nods, feeling a bit of the heaviness in his chest lift. They're in this together, and that's what matters most. Weeks turn into a month, and life slowly begins to shift back to normal. The memories of the wedding still linger, but they become less like a looming shadow and more like a reminder of their strength. James finds himself pouring his energy into work and spending quality time with Sam, making up for the time he spent distracted during his relationship with Sophia. One Saturday morning, James wakes up early and decides to surprise Sam. He heads into the kitchen, whistling softly as he prepares breakfast. Pancakes, Sam's favorite. As he flips the last one onto the plate, he hears footsteps behind him. Sam walks in, rubbing his eyes. "Morning, Dad." "Morning, kiddo." James grins, sliding the plate across the counter. "How about some pancakes?" Sam's eyes light up. "You didn't burn them this time?" James laughs, a sound that's become more frequent in their house recently. "Nope, I think I finally got it right. Also, I was thinking, maybe we should get out of the house today, just the two of us. What do you say?" Sam looks up, surprised but pleased. "Where would we go?" James sits down across from him, a gleam of excitement in his eyes. "How about a hike? There's that trail we used to go to by the lake. We could take some sandwiches and make a day of it." Sam smiles, the idea sparking a warmth in his chest that he hasn't felt in a while. "Yeah, I'd like that." The woods are quiet except for the sounds of birds and the crunch of leaves beneath their feet. James and Sam walk side by side along the trail, carrying backpacks filled with snacks and water. It's a familiar place, one they used to visit often before everything changed. As they reach a clearing by the lake, they set up a small picnic. The sun shines down on the water, creating a glittering effect that seems almost magical. James watches Sam as he munches on a sandwich, his eyes thoughtful. "Sam," James starts, choosing his words carefully, "I've been thinking about everything that happened. I don't want you to ever feel like you have to carry the weight of protecting me. That's supposed to be my job, you know?" Sam looks up, chewing slowly before he responds. "I know. But sometimes grown-ups don't see things the way kids do. I just wanted to keep you safe." James reaches out, ruffling Sam's hair affectionately. "And you did. I'm so proud of you for speaking up, for being brave. It's not easy to do what you did." They sit in silence for a few moments, the sounds of nature enveloping them. It feels peaceful, a stark contrast to the chaos they've left behind. After a while, Sam grins. "Race you to the water?" James laughs, standing up. "You're on." The months pass, and life continues to move forward. James and Sam work hard to rebuild their routines, filling their days with school, work, and weekend adventures. Though the memory of Sophia's betrayal still lingers, it no longer defines their daily lives. One day, while sorting through some old boxes in the attic, James finds a photo album. He dusts it off and brings it downstairs, calling for Sam. "Hey, come look at this," James says, opening the album on the coffee table. Sam peers over, a curious expression on his face. The album is filled with pictures from when he was younger. Family trips, birthday parties, and moments of joy from a time that now seems so long ago. James flips through the pages slowly, his eyes misting over as he recalls those happier times. We've been through a lot, haven't we? Sam nods, tracing a finger over one of the photos. Yeah, but we made it through. James smiles, pulling his son into a side hug. We sure did. And we'll keep making it through, no matter what comes our way. They sit there for a while, flipping through the pages and reminiscing. Each picture a reminder of the strength they've built together. It's not a story of loss or betrayal anymore. It's a story of resilience and love. On the anniversary of the wedding that wasn't, James and Sam decide to start a new tradition. They pack up the car and drive to a park outside of town, where they spend the day hiking and fishing, laughing at old jokes and creating new memories. As the sun sets over the horizon, they sit by the lake, the sky painted in brilliant hues of orange and pink. James turns to Sam, a soft smile on his face. You know, I've realized something important, James says quietly. What's that? Sam asks, glancing up at his dad. James looks out at the water, his eyes reflecting the fading light. The most important thing in my life is right here, with me. You, our bond. No matter what happens, that's something I'll always hold on to. Sam grins, feeling a surge of warmth and pride. Me too, Dad. They sit in silence, watching the stars begin to twinkle in the darkening sky. This is their moment, their new beginning, a promise to each other that they will face whatever comes next together. And as they pack up to head home, they know that they've built something unbreakable, a bond forged through love, honesty, and the courage to stand up for each other no matter the cost. In the end, it wasn't just about stopping a wedding, it was about finding their way back to each other, and realizing that the love between a father and son is the strongest shield against any storm.